Hi everyone, welcome to a new tutorial on LiveLooks and our DIT package, which includes LiveLooks as well. In this video I'll be showing you how you can manage your grades in the grade library and also how to use the new reference channel which got introduced in version 9.6. This is not to be confused with the option to load a reference frame or clip as the input for any given channel. The new reference channel option is to be found here in the clips and grades list and can be used with grades and recorded clips. For usage with recorded clips, we have a dedicated video aimed at Live Assist users, but the functionality also extends to LiveLooks. But what does it do? Let's take a look at dealing with grades. In our setup here we have two cameras, A cam connected via SDI, B cam via NDI. I'll switch on multicam view so we can look at both cameras at the same time. In the middle tab, let's make sure we are on the grades tab. As you can see, I have 3 different grades in my list here, one for each camera for scenes 1, 2 and 3. Over here on the left, I can quickly filter the list to show me grades for the A cam or B cam only. And on the far right, I can see thumbnail previews of all grades that are currently shown in the list. Of course, I can also search my library. If I want to find the grades of, say, scene 3, I can just type in S3. Now up here is the grades dropdown. Let's look at the first 4 options in here. The most obvious one is Apply to Active Channel. No matter which grade you have selected, hitting this button applies it to the channel that is currently active in the grade controller. As you can see, my currently active channel is the A cam. I could now modify it to my liking in the Color Effects tab and then save this as a new grade for scene 4. So far, so simple. The next option to look at is Recall All Channels. This will apply all grades of a take to all cameras. So if I select the cold grade of the A cam and click this option, also the B cam will get its corresponding grade for that same scene and take. Just to prevent any confusion, this option does not apply the selected grade, A cam in this case, to all cameras. As you can see here, if I switch between channels, the grades applied to both cameras are in fact different. Let's look at the next option, Show in Dual View. What does that do? Also quite simple. There are cases where you just want to look at the saved still with the grade applied to it on the interface monitor, but do not want to affect the live signal necessarily, which would be the case with the other 2 options we just looked at. So when clicking this option, Dual View will pop up and show the selected grade applied to the still it was saved with on the right side. Clicking this button or hotkey D will exit Dual View. Instead of Dual View, you can also look at it in Split View, hotkey S. If I now disable Multicam View for the left side, we can simply wipe live signal and graded still against each other and compare. As long as we are in Dual or Split View, I can also simply drag other grades into the right side of the viewport and have those show up there. Saves a click. And by pressing hotkey S again, we can exit Split View. Now for the last option. Open as reference. This will open the selected grade in a temporary reference channel, like this. Doing so has several advantages. First of all, we do not need to create a separate reference clip channel here in the setup menu. This would not only take us quite a number of clicks and folders to browse through, but it would also complicate our setup as it would be seen like a third camera and also show up as such on our reports and everything. Certainly nothing we'd want. Next, here in the Settings tab, we can set a specific output to show the temporary reference channel on. This can either be a monitor dedicated to only show the reference channel, or we can select an output that is already assigned to any of the channels. In that case, Live Assist will switch to a 2-up view showing the actual channel this output was assigned to and the reference channel next to each other. In most cases, however, if the screen on our card is set to always show the active channel or a video wall of all channels, it will of course also show the reference channel once it becomes available in the grade controller. But there is more. If we jump into the Color Effects tab, we can even adjust the grade and then update the existing grade via the known dropdown if needed. Of course, there are also scenarios where the DOP decides to change the grade of an entire scene in hindsight, and you are required to update all individual grades of a scene that has already been saved. In that case, if we now adjust the grades for A and B cam to the DOP's flavor of the day and want to update all existing grades of a scene, we can then simply search for all grades of a corresponding scene, filter by camera, select all grades and update them at once. Next, filter out the B cam, select it also in the grade controller and update all B cam grades with the current grade. Note that for a multi-selection you need to select in the table over here, since the proxy view only lets you select one grade at a time. Let's continue with our dropdown, shall we? Moving a grade will allow you to reassign scene, shot, take, episode and shooting day numbers of an existing grade, in case any of these numbers were not entered correctly during the shoot. Delete selected grades should be self-explanatory. Note that this option, however, cannot be undone, as it will indeed delete the grade files from disk. And the Edit Notes option lets you add any number of notes to the selected grade. Alternatively, you can click the little note icon in the upper right corner of any thumbnail, or select any grade and hit hotkey N to pop up the note dialog. Note that you can always only add notes to a single grade at a time. Lastly, you can make all grades available for instant review via the Production Central dropdown up here. Lifelux ships with an integrated web server, and by scanning this QR code or entering the URL below, any device on the local network can access the server and browse through all existing grades. Next to that, you can export both a day report and the full report as PDF. EDL with CDL is currently grayed out, as this is only available when grading in CDL only mode. The resulting EDL can then be imported into DaVinci Resolve, and all contained CDLs can be matched to the corresponding clips from the camera via color trace. We do have a separate tutorial on that. Lastly, the grade index. When using Lifelux, all grades and metadata are stored on disk in an easy-to-browse folder structure. Generating a grade index basically creates an HTML file to navigate this folder structure inside a browser. You can hand over the entire project folder with the included HTML file to a post house, and any LUT, reference image or metadata item can conveniently be found by simply browsing the HTML file. That's it for a quick overview on how to manage grades and use the new reference channel in Lifelux. Hope this was useful to you, and see you next time. Bye.